Hi, everybody. It's Tina, and tonight I'm going to be making one of our favorite meals. And I'm actually not cooking in the microwave tonight. I'm going to be using our beautiful cookware. I'll tell you a little bit more about our cookware once everything gets cooking. But we're going to be making shrimp and grits tonight. And I know when you go to a restaurant and you see this on the menu, it's usually pretty expensive. The reality of things is that there's really not a lot of ingredients. And to be honest, it's pretty easy to make. So I'm going to walk you through the process. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to get started making our grits. I have got my saucepan on here, and we're going to get started with that. I already have that in there. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to add some milk. I actually like to use heavy whipping cream to make it nice and thick and gooey. And we're also going to use some chicken broth. Now, I actually frequently have chicken broth in my freezer, so this was partially frozen, but that's okay. It's going to cook up really, really quickly. So we'll get that all in there together. And we're also going to put some butter inside. And I'll post a recipe a little bit later. I just took my butter and cubed it. Now I'm actually cutting my recipe for the grits in half because it serves 4. And while it'd be nice to have some leftovers, I have plenty of leftovers in our refrigerator, so I'm not doubling. This will make for us for dinner tonight. All right, so far we have chicken broth, we have our heavy whipping cream, and we have butter. And then we're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. There we go. And I'm just waiting right now to make sure that the frozen chicken broth that I had in there is completely thawed. And it is completely thawed. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to sprinkle in our grits. So now that I've added the grits, I'm actually going to do some whisking. So I want to bring this to a boil. And once it comes to a boil, it's almost boiling because I have this on high on my induction stovetop. So once it comes to a boil, it was almost to a boil when I added the grits because you have to wait till it boils to put that in there. But I have little bubbles in there. It wasn't a rolling boil, but it was enough. So I've got my grits in there. I'm going to whisk that around. It's one of the things I love about cooking on top of an induction stovetop. I just have dreams of my electric cooktop going out and being able to replace it with an induction cooktop instead of having my little portable one. Yay! I actually prefer gas, but we don't have gas in our neighborhood. Okay, so now that it's boiling, the next step is to just stir it around a little bit. Just, every once in a while, stir it, just occasionally. And we're going to put the cover on it, and it's going to take about 12 to 14 minutes to finish this up. And again, as I mentioned, you want to make sure that you are occasionally stirring. All right, so the grits are cooking. So now what I want to do is talk a little bit about the cookware set. So what I started with was our 2.5 quart saucepan, and it has a glass cover on it. And so the next piece that actually comes in this set is our beautiful Dutch oven that you see right here. Isn't that awesome? And this Dutch oven is perfect for your stews and your soups. And it has a stainless steel cover to this. Now, all of our covers can go into the oven as well. So that's one of the things that I love about our cookware is that it can be used on ceramic or electric. It can be used on gas, and it can be used on induction. Funny story, I had a friend whose mom bought a new induction cooktop, and she didn't really realize what that was. And apparently neither did the people at the store. So she got it home and it didn't work. And so they came and took it out and brought her a new one. And the second one didn't work. And by the time they brought the third one, that's when they figured out that an induction cooktop requires special cookware. It has to be designed for an induction cooktop. And that's because what happens is this actually is not hot when you touch this. When you turn it on, it doesn't get hot. It doesn't get hot until you put your induction cookware. And you'll notice at the bottom of my cookware, look how beautiful this comes right out of my kitchen, you guys. And so this is used cookware, very well used. You'll notice that there's like a little rim here, and that is the magnetic part of this that reacts to the induction, and that's what makes it actually turn on and actually heat. What I love about this is that you can start something in here on top of the stove, like braising some meat, and then you can take it and put it in the oven to finish it. So for those things that you want to slow roast, this is a perfect size container. Our handles are cool to the touch when they're on an oven, or on a stovetop, I should say. But when you put them in the oven, they do get hot. And that's when you're going to want to make sure that you grab some of our awesome mitts that we have. These are silicone mitts, nice and big. They go up past your wrists, so you don't have to worry about burning on that rack in the oven if you're taking something out. Love, love, love those. The other thing that's really nice is whether it's the glass or the stainless steel covers, you'll notice that these handles stick up quite a bit. And that's because, you know what, men do a lot of cooking. And we know that, and their hands are obviously bigger. And so it's easier for a guy to grab a hold of this with his big hands than some of those little tiny hoops that you see in some cookware. So this is our Dutch oven. And then the last piece, and it's the one that I'm going to make the shrimp in, is the 11-inch fry pan. And this is a workhorse in our house. It is constantly getting used. So I'm going to turn this on medium heat right now. And we're going to add our next ingredients to get things started. Okay, next what we're going to do is we're going to fry up some bacon. Actually, we're just going to saute it. So a little trick that we do is we usually buy bacon at Costco because it's really, to be honest, it's the best bacon around and the price is really great. But there's just a couple of us, just two of us at the house. And so that's a whole lot of bacon. So when we come home from the store, we take the bacon and we roll each piece around our finger and stand it up in one of our larger freezer containers. So this is the small one. We have them that are much larger, and you can actually get 2 pounds of bacon inside of one of those containers, but that way they're individual pieces. So if you just need like 2 strips of bacon for a recipe, it's easy to take out 2 frozen pieces. If you just want to fry up a couple for like a bacon lettuce tomato sandwich or anything like that, much easier to do that as well. So that is a little tip to help you out with your bacon. So this recipe calls for 8 slices of bacon, and it's actually enough for a serving for 4. And this is going to be way more sauce than what we need, but you know what? You can't have too mumuch bacon, right? I thought maybe I should only do 2 for the 4 of us, but I want to have plenty of yumminess in here, and we won't use all of this bacon today. So we're going to cook this up, and it's on medium heat. You don't want to cook it on high. And once it's completely done, what we'll do is we'll scoop it out. So I'll be back in just a minute when this is all done, and we'll scoop it out, and we're going to let it just sit in a bowl with a paper towel underneath it, and then we're going to come back and finish up the rest of our yummies. All right, so I will be back in just a few minutes. Okay, so the bacon's cooking up. It's not done yet, but I thought I'd come back and talk about one of our other sets. We have actually 2 sets of cookware. And so the next one is, the first one I told you about was called our essential set. And then this next one is our gourmet set. It comes with the 8-inch fry pan. It actually has a glass cover with it as well. And then look at this one. This is an amazing little pan. If you all like to make eggs, you're going to love this. Now that 8-inch one is pretty good for eggs as well. But I think you're going to really find that this one right here is also great. This is a griddle, but it's great for eggs. You can make a pancake inside of it, like grilling up a sandwich, anything like that. And then the last piece, I love, love, love. I almost decided to use this one to cook with tonight because this has got a nice deep side to it. This is called our sawtooth spoon, and it has 2 handles to it and the glass cover as well. And this one I use a lot for casseroles. It's perfect for that as well. So we have 2 different sets. I think you'll love both of them. All right, I'm loving what this bacon looks like. And you can see it's all filmy, and it's just the right amount of brown. So I'm going to use our scoop and drain. You'll notice that I don't use any metal utensils whatsoever. That is really, really important. You don't want to scratch your cookware. This cookware, like I said, is right out of my kitchen. I've been using it for years. It is still in brand new condition. When you buy good cookware, you won't have to replace it all the time. I can remember, BT, which I call before Tupperware. I went through a lot of cookware. Handles and knobs would fall off. The non-stick would wear off. And this cookware is amazing. So you will not be finding a need to replace your cookware on a constant basis. So we've scooped this all out using my scoop and drain. I love this little guy. He's so handy for so many different things. It's like a gigantic slotted spoon. Okay. And we're gonna let that just sit. That is way more than I need for tonight's meal. So I'll take some of that, about half of it probably, and freeze it. And that way I'll have bacon that I can use for whether I'm putting it like, salad or something like that. It's already gonna be done. All right. So I'm gonna turn my heat down just a little bit. There we go. All right. And so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to check out the grits because I've been stirring them off and on. So, oh yeah, oops, got a little water there. I'm be careful. So let me grab my whisk and look at that, nice and creamy. So I'm going to move this off. Oh, musical pans. And I'm going to add the cheese to this. So there we go. Let me get a bit of that out, stir that in, and now my delicious cheese grits. Just beautiful. Okay, so these are going to go back on the stove. I've got that stove burner on really, really low just to keep them warm while we finish up everything else. All right, I drained off a good amount of the bacon grease. We've left just enough so the bottom of the pan is still coated because we don't want our food swimming in grease. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add some garlic. And again, you'll notice I'm using my silicone spatula to cook things up here. And I'm going to turn this back up now. I turned it down for just a little bit. And this next section is going to go really, really quick. So we're going to put our garlic in, and then we're going to put our shrimp in. And our shrimp is peeled and deveined. And we're just going to place these in here. They are not going to take long to cook whatsoever. You can hear them sizzling up in that yummy garlic. And I'm going to sprinkle them with some Cajun seasoning. That's going to make them really delicious. All righty. So, peeled and deveined, peeled off. And we're just going to sprinkle this seasoning on top of these so that all of the shrimp get a little bit. I usually use a little bit more than the recipe because we like our food spicy. Right, it only takes a couple of minutes for your shrimp to cook. So you don't want to overcook it because if you do, it's going to become like a rubber band. And that's the one thing you don't want. So we're just going to yummy this up a little bit. And that garlic is cooking up. I wish you guys had smell-o-vision because it really does smell delicious. So I want to show you what your shrimp is going to start looking like. Oops. Grab that one and lost control. So see, it's going to turn white. We want to get it to where it's actually pink. So about 2 minutes is probably all you're going to need. These are going to look so delicious. All right, let's check them out and see if it's time to flip those puppies over. They're all kind of pinky orange. Yummy. And I'm going to sprinkle. One of the things I try to do is when I put them in a circle, I try to flip them then in the same order that I put them down. That way you're flipping them over in the order that you cook them, because like I said, they cook up really fast. All righty, we'll just put the rest in there and kind of stir it around. And guess what? We're almost done. I mean, pretty amazing. So we're going to plate things up. I'm just going to put my cover on just to keep some of the steam in real quick. and then we're gonna plate. But I want to show you something else I did. I made a salad because this is a little bit of cholesterol here. So I made a healthy salad. So I've got spinach and I've got a strawberry, sliced strawberry, some feta cheese, and some toasted, actually, these are candied pecans. And that's going to be our salad to go along with this tonight. So that makes for a really easy meal. Okay, it's time to plate things up. So I found these really cool plates. They're not Tupperware because they're actually stoneware, but I love these because they're not as big as you think they are. They just have a shallow little bowl inside, and it's perfect for something like shrimp and grits. And if you go to a restaurant, this is the way they would actually serve them. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our grits, and we are going to just ladle that into our dish. Now I am going to turn my screen down. I'm going to cut myself off, but that way you can actually see what I'm doing. There we go. So you just ladle this in. Now remember, I cut this recipe for the grits in half. I didn't want to have any leftovers. So if you were following the instructions, you'd have enough to make 4. A lot of grits though, isn't it? So what I really want to show you is this cookware. So I'm going to grab my spatula real quick that I was using, and we'll get every little last bit out because we don't want to waste any of this goodness whatsoever. Yummy. But I want you to see what this pan looks like because it's so amazing. With your spatula, you can get everything out, and look at that pan. I mean, this could actually be wiped out with a paper towel. Isn't that amazing? So that's a pretty cool feature. Okay, so we've got this part in here right now. Next thing we're gonna do, whoa, almost had a catastrophe there. We're gonna sprinkle our bacon. So I've already put half of this bacon in a container while we were waiting for everything to finish up. So we're just gonna scrape this off. Remember, it was on a paper towel to absorb off all the extra grease because you don't want a bunch of extra grease in here. All righty. Now we are going to take our shrimp that's in that garlic and seasoning sauce. It's all done. And we're just gonna scoop these out and place them with the garlic and the yummy seasoning. I want to make sure I get it, all the yummies. There we go. Now, I've seen other recipes. In fact, I've made other recipes of shrimp and grits that has tomatoes and celery, and they're a lot more complicated. And you know what? I found this recipe, and it is just so easy that you can actually make it on a weeknight because it is so easy. So I'm scraping out all the yumminess because we don't want to waste any of that. And we're going to scoop that all in here. There we go. Spatula time. This spatula gets it all out because we don't want to waste any of that. And it's got some of that yummy bacon grease to go with it. All right. And there's one more thing. We're going to add a little green onion to this, just to make it look fancy. And it adds a little flavor too. So, shrimp and grits in the Chef Series Cookware. That's what's for dinner tonight. Enjoy. I know we will.